The first time you ever laid eyes on Jungkook in college, you understood why people called him untouchable. He was the kind of boy who walked into a room and instantly drew every gaze, not because he tried to, but because his presence demanded it. Tall, broad shouldered, with sharp eyes that always seemed to be calculating something no one else could understand. But to you, he was more than that. He was your silent, unreachable crush. You always sat near the window in class, your notebook neatly open in front of you. Sometimes, while the professor's voice droned in the background, you found yourself glancing at him the way his hand moved across the page when he took notes. The way he lifted his head slightly when concentrating, the faint furrow in his brows when he didn't understand something right away, and yet he never looked your way. Every time you mustered the courage to greet him in the hallway, he would pass you as though your voice had never reached his ears, not cruelly, not with malice, but with a cold indifference that stung worse than open rejection. Still, you couldn't stop admiring him. One morning, as you walked into class balancing a pile of books, your foot caught the edge of a desk. You stumbled forward just enough to make the book slip from your arms and scatter across the floor. You were about to kneel down when a tall figure crouched beside you, long fingers gathering the papers before they could fly away. You looked up, your breath catching. It was John Jungkook. For a second, your eyes met, and something flickered in his dark gaze. But just as quickly, he looked away without a word. He placed the stack of books neatly on your desk and walked back to his seat. You whispered softly, almost to yourself, "Thank you," but he didn't respond. He didn't even glance back. Your heart sank, though a part of you told yourself that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as heartless as he pretended to be. What you didn't know was that Jungkook noticed far more than he let on. Every time you laughed with your friends, a subtle warmth tugged at his chest. Every time you tucked your hair nervously behind your ear. When called on in class, he fought the urge to stare too long, and when you smiled genuinely brightly, he felt something shift in his that he couldn't name. But Jungkook had mastered the art of silence. He told himself it was better this way, that getting close to you was dangerous, that he couldn't afford distractions, that someone like you belonged in a world untouched by the cold walls he had built around himself. So he stayed cold, he stayed distant. Even as your presence haunted the edges of his thoughts every single day, the college corridors buzzed with chatter as students rushed out of classrooms. Relieved that the day was finally over, but Jungkook lingered near the main office, his usually stoic expression softened by a nervous tension. His mother had been called in for the parent-teacher meeting, something he both dreaded and looked forward to. When Mrs. Jones stepped out of the professor's office, heads turned. She was a woman who carried herself with elegance and authority, her silk blouse perfectly pressed, her hair pinned back neatly, her heels clicking sharply against the polished floor. Her reputation preceded her. Jode Group's matriarch, wealthy, powerful, and terrifyingly strict. Yet in that moment, she smiled warmly at her son. "I'm proud of you, Jungkook," the professor said. "You're excellencing in every subject, just like I advised you to. You can ask me for whatever you want today. I'll grant it." For a moment, the cold facade Jungkook wore every day slipped. His lips curved into a rare, genuine smile, his eyes lighting up with a boyish gleam you almost never saw. "Really, anything?" Mrs. Jones chuckled softly, patting his cheek. Anything, my son, you deserve it. Jungkook hesitated, his heart hammered against his ribs. He had never told her about you, never dared to, but the way she smiled at him now, the warmth in her tone, it cracked open a door he had kept locked for too long. Taking a breath, he finally confessed, Mom, there's someone I like. Mrs. Jones Pro's art in surprise. Oh, my son, who never even looks at girls. That is unexpected. Who is she? His gaze wandered down the hallway and froze. You were there laughing with one of your friends, sunlight streaming through the window and catching the edges of your hair. You were wearing your usual simple cardigan and skirt, not extraordinary by anyone's standards, yet to Jungkook you were the most radiant person in the room. His lips curved almost unconsciously as he pointed towards you. Yet her mind, the one by the window in the white cardigan. For a moment, Mrs. Jones followed his gaze, and then her smile faltered, her eyes hardened, her jaw tightening as if she had tasted something bitter. No, the word was short, final, like the slam of a door. Chunguk blinked in confusion. No, what do you mean, no? You said I could ask for anything. Mrs. Jones' expression darkened, her voice low and with disapproval. Anyone but her, Jungkook. Don't even think about it. Why, she's kind, hardworking. I have. Mrs. Jones cut him off with a cold laugh. Hardworking, don't be naive. Do you forget who you are? You were Joan Jungkook, the heir of the Joan family. You don't throw that away for someone like her. Jungkook's brows furrowed, frustration rising. Someone like her? She's not. Mrs. Jones' tone grew sharper. Do you not remember Jungkook? Their family once opposed us in business. Her father humiliated your father at that shareholders meeting, and her, she's an average student at best, while you top every exam. She scrapes by. Do you want people whispering that? Joon Jungkook, the star of this college, lowered his standards for a girl who can't even keep up. Her words pierced him like knives. He clenched his fists, his chest tightening. So that's it, her grades, her family, that's all you see. Mrs. Jones' eyes narrowed. That's all that matters. Love, attraction, childish crushes, those fade, but reputation, status, they stay forever. You will not disgrace his family by running after her. The red light in Jungkook's eyes flickered and died. He stood there, frozen, disappointment heavy in his chest like lead. Jungkook whispered almost to himself. But she's the only thing I have ever wanted. Mrs. Jones straightened her blazer and moved, then want something else, and with that she turned away, her heels clicking against the floor, leaving him staring at the ground, crushed. The rain came down in silver sheets, soaking the stone courtyard, pulling at the edges of the steps. Students hurried past with umbrellas, their voices muffled by the storm, but you stood there clutching your back straps so tightly, your knuckles whitened, your heartbeat thundering louder than the rain. You saw him, John Chunk, leaning against the archway, his hood pulled slow, arms crossed as if shielding himself from the verge. He looked carved out of stone, untouchable as always, yet to notice the small details, the way his eyes followed the rhythm of the rain, the subtle tap of his fingers against his arm. You swallowed hard, now or never. Stepping closer, you called softly, Jungkook. His head tilted slightly, his gaze cutting to you. What? His tone wasn't harsh, just detached, as though your presence meant nothing. But that didn't stop your chest from tightening. You gathered every ounce of courage left in you. There is something I need to tell you. He straightened a little, brows drawing together. Go on. The words tangled in your throat, but you forced them out. I like you. I have liked you for a long time. The sound of rain filled the silence that followed. Chunguk's lips parted slightly, his eyes flashing with something unreadable, something you almost mistook for vulnerability. But it vanished too quickly. You kept talking, your voice trembling but sincere. I know you act cold, like nothing touches you, but I have seen how much effort you put into everything. I have seen the way you notice things even when you pretend not to. You are more than what you let people see. Jungkook, and I don't expect you to like me back. I just couldn't keep it in anymore. His chest tightened painfully. He wanted to tell you everything that he had noticed you since the very first day, that your laughter was the one sound he secretly looked forward to, that you were the only one who ever managed to warm the frozen parts of him. But his mother's voice echoed cruelly in his head, not her Jungkook, anyone but her. He forced the softness from his eyes, replacing it with a mask of ice. Wine, you shouldn't have said that. Your brows furrowed, confusion lacing your tone. Why not? I'm just being honest. Chunguk looked away, jaw clenched. Because it's useless. I don't like you. I never have. The word slammed into you like a physical blow. You blinked rapidly, trying to process your laying. Chunguk's fists tightened at his sides. He wished you were right, but he forced his voice into steel. I'm not. Don't mistake my signs for feelings. I have never thought of you that day. Don't waste your time. Your chest burned, your throat constricting as tears pricked at your eyes. So all this time I was nothing to you. He hesitated just a second too long, and in that hesitation his eyes softened, betraying him. You saw him, but then he blinked, and the coldness returned. Yes, nothing. Your heart cracked, the sound almost audible in your ears. You stepped back, your voice breaking. You are cruel, Chunguk. The rain poured harder as if the heavens mirrored your pain. You turned running into the storm, your sobs swallowed by the thunder. Later, Jungkook's room was dark, lit only by the faint glow of his desk lamp. He sat slouched on the edge of his bed, hoodie still damp, strands of hair sticking messily to his forehead. His hands trembled as he replayed the scene in his head, your trembling voice, your hopeful eyes, the way you broke when he shattered you. He buried his face in his palms, voice hoarse as he whispered into the silence, I didn't mean it, Wine, I didn't mean it. Tears slipped through his fingers, falling onto the fabric of his jeans. The boy who seemed untouchable, cold as ice, was crumbling in the dark. I wanted you to, but I'm a coward. And for the first time, John Jungkook hated himself more than anyone else ever could. The days after your confession felt like walking through a battlefield, except the war was silent. You stopped greeting him in the hallways, stopped glancing his way in class, stopped acknowledging his existence altogether. At first, Jungkook told himself it didn't matter, that he had asked for his distance, that it was better this way, but the lie didn't hold for long. He found himself scanning the classroom instinctively, waiting for your soft smile, only to be met with your cold, expressionless face turned elsewhere. He waited for the little waves you used to give him in the library when you caught his eye, but they never came, even your laughter, which once felt like sunlight spilling through Cracks in his walls no longer reached him. And the silence ate him alive. One afternoon, Jungkook sat with a few of his friends at the campus cafe. They were joking around, but he wasn't really listening. His gaze kept drifting, searching until he saw you outside walking with a male classmate. The boy leaned in slightly, saying something that made you laugh. It was the kind of laugh Jungkook hadn't heard in weeks. Something snapped inside him. His jaw tightened, his hand gripping the cup so hard it cracked. His friends noticed his dark expression and exchanged curious glances. The young smirked, elbowing him. Why do you look so dead these days, John? Did someone dump you? The table erupted in laughter. Jungkook forced a humorless chuckle, shaking his head. Shut up, but the words lagged by. Because the truth was yes, someone had dumped him, not by saying it, but by erasing him from their world, and it was his own fault. That night, the storm inside him grew unbearable. He found himself walking down the campus path, hands shoved in his pockets when he heard it again, your laughter. He froze. You were standing under the lamp post with that same guy, your expression lit with ease and joy. His chest tightened painfully. That used to be me. That smile used to be mine. Fueled by jealousy and desperation, he finally approached. His voice came out low, rough. Wine, you turned, startled, your smile fading instantly, your expression cool like a door slamming shut. What do you want, Jungkook? The way you said his name, flat, detached, cut deeper than any knife. Jungkook glanced at the boy, then back at you, his fists clenching. Can we talk alone? You sighed, shaking your head. There's nothing left to talk about. You made that very clear. Jungkook's throat tightened. Please just give me a minute. Your friend excused himself reluctantly, leaving you both standing under the dim glow of the lamppost. The air between you was thick with unspoken words. You cross your arms, say whatever you have to say. I have things to do. He flinched at your cold tone. It was the exact mirror of how he had once spoken to you. Karma had never tasted so bitter. I can't stand this. You ignoring me, acting like I don't exist. You scoffed. Funny, isn't that what you did to me all along? The words hit him like bullets. He stepped closer, voice breaking despite his effort to stay composed. I know I was cruel, but why? I didn't mean it. I didn't mean a single thing I said that day. Your brows froze, confusion flickering across your face. Then why humiliate me like that? Why break me when you knew how I felt? And that was it, the dam inside like broke. His voice cracked as the truth spilled out because of my mother, because she told me I couldn't have you, that you were not good enough, that I would disgrace the family if I chose you. Your eyes widened, shock freezing you in place. Jungkook's hand trembled as he dragged them through his hair. His composure unraveling completely. I wanted you. God, I wanted you so badly, but I was a coward. I let her words decide for me, and now I have lost you. Tears burned in his eyes, spilling down his cheeks as his voice cracked into desperation. Do you know what it's like, Wine? To watch you walk past me like I'm invisible. To see you smile at someone else when I had give anything to be the reason for that smile. It's killing me. You are killing me. Your lips parted, stunned by the rawness in his tone. You had never seen John Jungkook like this, never seen him vulnerable, broken, undone for the first time. He wasn't the cold, untouchable boy everyone admired. He was just a young man shattered by his own mistakes, begging for the one thing he had thrown away. Jungkook stepped closer, voice trembling like a confusion in the dark. I'm sorry, please don't leave me in this silence. I can't take it anymore. The night air still, the rain from earlier had left the ground damp, reflecting the glow of the lamppost, as if even the world paused to witness his breakdown, and you stood frozen, your heart varying between anger, heartbreak, and the undeniable truth that you had never stopped loving him. Jungkook's voice was still shaky from his breakdown when he looked at you with bleeding eyes. Wine, just one chance, please let me prove that I can fight for you this time. I won't let you again. Your chest tightened at the raw desperation in his tone. The memory of his cold rejection still lingered, but so did the image of him breaking apart before your eyes. Slowly, you noticed. One chance, don't waste it, Jungkook. Relief flooded his face, his shoulders sagging as though you had lifted a weight that had been suffocated him for weeks. 2 nights later, you stood before your mirror, smoothing down the fabric of your dress. Every detail felt overwhelming. Your hair, your shoes, even the necklace you debated wearing. Because tonight, Jungkook had asked you to do something you never imagined, meet his parents. Your stomach churned with nervous. You knew Mrs. Jones disliked you. Her icy disapproval during the parent teacher meeting still stung, but Jungkook had insisted, if we are doing this, we are doing it right. I want them to know you are the one I choose. So you went. The Jones residence was a mansion of a glass and stone, intimidating even from the driveway. Jungkook held your hand firmly as you entered, his silent way of telling you not to be afraid. Inside, Mrs. Jones' eyes swept over you the moment you stepped into the living room. Her lips curved into a polite but sharp smile, the kind that held more venom than warmth. So, this is the girl, the only one you caused such a fuss over. You bowed politely. Good evening, Mrs. Jones. Thank you for having me. Mrs. Jones' gaze lingered on your dress, then your hands, as though searching for flaws. I expected more. Jungkook, really, this is who you are choosing. She doesn't even carry herself like someone from our circle. Your heart stung, but before you could lower your eyes, Jungkook's hand tightened around yours. His voice cut sharp. Enough, mom. I didn't bring her here for your approval. I brought her because she's the one I love. Mrs. Jones' eyes widened, fury flashing, but before she could speak, another voice entered. Mr. Jones, tall and commanding yet calm, stepped into the room. His gaze shifted between you and his son before settling on his wife. That's enough, hearing the boy has spoken. Mrs. Jones' tone sharpened. Spoken, he's throwing his future away for a girl who. Mr. Jones raised a hand, silencing her. Then he looked at Jungkook with steady pride. If she's the one you want, son, then I accept her too. My support is with you. You gasped softly while Jungkook's throat tightened with emotion. Mrs. Jones' face darkened. Then she cannot live in this house. If she enters here, I will not stay. The tension thickened, but Jungkook didn't flinch. He turned to her, eyes cold but voice calm. Then don't. If you can't accept her mom, then I'll take her away. I don't need this house to be happy. I just need her. Mrs. Jones' lips parted in shock, but Jungkook didn't wait for her reply. Mrs. Jones' lips curved into a faint smile of approval. He reached into his coat pocket, pulling out a heavy silver key. He extended it to his son. Here, the keys to the Azure Villa. It's yours now. I'll transfer the funds you'll need. My assets, my support, everything is yours. Jungkook, build your own world with her. Jungkook took the keys with trembling hands. his eyes shining as he hugged his father tightly. Thank you, Dad, for everything. Mr. Jones patted his back, then turned to you. His expression softened as he gently rested his hand on your head like a blessing. And you, Wine, take care of him. He may look strong, but he carries more than he shows. Stand by him, and he will stand by you. That's all I ask. Your eyes brimmed with tears as you bowed deeply. I will, sir, I promise. Jungkook squeezed your hand again, his thumb brushing across your knuckles as though sealing that promise. And for the first time, you felt not just the boy who had broken your heart, but the man who was ready to fight the world to keep it. The Azure Villa sat on the outskirts of the city, a masterpiece of glass and white stone overlooking a quiet lake. Unlike the Joan mentioned, it didn't feel suffocating. The moment you stepped inside, the silence was peaceful, not cold. Jungkook opened the door for you, carrying in the last of the boxes himself. He sat them down with a dramatic sigh. There, our first step into a new life. How does it feel, Mrs. Future Joan? You sweated his arm lightly, cheeks warming. We're not even married yet.